Hello, everyone, and welcome to Paula's Soapbox Live. Well, you know my guest today from General Hospital. He played Dr. Ewan Keenan on the show. He's also been on Hulu's Casual and the HBO miniseries The Pacific. And recently, he appeared on an episode of Hawaii Five-O. I am pleased to welcome to the show actor and accomplished musician, I might add, Nathin Butler. He's also joined by his friend Jake Miller from Fear the Walking Dead. So please welcome them to the show.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Hi, how are you guys doing? Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us. No worries.
So Nathin, you kind of grew up in a musical family, I guess. Your mother was a country singer, and your sister, I believe, is a country singer as well. So was it kind of always understood that you would do something creative?
Yeah, that's right. You've done your research. I'm impressed. Yeah, I mean, I was performing from a young age, on the stage. But then, when I went to school, it kind of wasn't cool to perform anymore. Like when I started, I was young. I was like only 5 years old when I was performing and doing like funny country music shows and stuff. But then when you start school, like you got to be cool. So you got to play sport and you got to do that. And it wasn't until later, like when I was in, year 11 or 12 or grade 11 or 12, that I kind of got into drama. And it was actually, you know what? Most of this was because of my little sister. She wanted to audition for the High School Musical.
Yes.
It was they were doing the Threepenny Opera, which was a very obscure musical with Mac the Knife, like a pretty serious kind of drama musical. And she's like, Nathin, can you please audition for, can you please help me, and sing this duet for the thing? And I was like, oh my God, Chloe, that's so, I don't want to do that, like a basketball player and a rugby player. I'm like, that sounds, I'm going to get teased, man. I'm going to get like, so she twisted my finger and I was like, all right, we'll do it. And we sang A Whole New World from Aladdin too. like awful, like so gay. I go in there and we sing it, we do it. And then the director, she wants me to be the lead in the musical.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh no, this is just for Chloe. I'm not interested.
Right, you didn't know you were auditioning.
Yeah, she basically chases me around the school for the next like 2 or 3 weeks saying, look, there's no one else who can play Mac the Knife at our school right now, and you're the only one. I need you to do it, And meanwhile, Chloe, my little sister, gets like a chorus role, and I felt so bad. But then the drama teacher eventually twisted my arm and said, look, just come to a rehearsal, check it out. And I come there, and I see there's all these like hot chicks. And I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, this probably won't be that bad. I'm like, maybe I could, try it out for a bit. And then, here I am.
It's always about the girls. Every
right?
every male actor I interview, it's always, I got into it because of a girl.
or whatever you're into, there's just handsome people.
Yeah.
And look, that was kind of the beginning of the end for me. And now here I am, like 18 years later, here I am sitting here, an unemployed actor. So,
well, you're not exactly unemployed. You just recently appeared.
I am right now.
Right at the moment.
I'm gonna change that real quick. Hey, Jake, we're working on it. Jake just came over. He did an audition. This is where I do all my auditions. For my self tapes. Jake just put down an awesome tape right here. So trying to get land that next gig we are. That's what we're doing.
So how did you guys meet?
We met. How did we meet?
It's a very small, very ironic story. We were at the winery, and I was at the winery, and then I met his wife and all of their girlfriends, and
it was hitting on my wife.
And, and she brought me home.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, he hooked up with one of my wife's best friends, and then we came back here and hung out, and become mates. We got a lot in common. He's a good guy, and I think people, it's weird because like I have a few really good friends like Jake who are from the South, you know, from Alabama or Tennessee. And I really like, I don't know, there's something about the Aussie and Southern culture that's kind of similar. And I grew up also in the Outback. So yeah, I don't know. We just kind of understand each other, you know?
Yeah. Despite the difference in accents.
Yeah, it's kind of cool, you know. And where I'm from in Australia, like people wear cowboy hats and you know, they're listening to Garth Brooks and like
they shoot kangaroos, we shoot deer, right?
Yeah, it's the same thing. It's totally the same.
And Zach Brown and all that. So yeah, I'm like a, you know, I'm a bit of a redneck at heart, to tell you the truth. But yeah.
Well, I guess because your mother was a country singer, you moved around a lot, and you did part of your education growing up through walkie-talkie. Is that true?
I did. Yeah. Again, you must, yeah. It's that's impressive. You know that. I did. Yeah. It's called School of the Air, is what I did. So like I was growing up on the ranch, and the closest school is, you know, like 500 miles away. So you did school over a walkie-talkie, like a radio system, and you talk to your teacher. They have your books, you have your books and stuff and your work, and you'll be talking to your teacher on, you know.
So it's like homeschool, but with a microphone?
Yeah, it's like homeschool with a microphone, and you're talking to a teacher. So we, you know, we set up the office, like Dad's office, where it was also our classroom. And, you know, so I would do, you know, and I got to say, it's probably not as good as being at, like, the school.
Right,
like,
yeah.
You know, you only have a few hours a day where you do it, and the rest you, like, go and play and be a little kid on a ranch, you know? So, like, you do a bit of school here and there. The cool thing was, though, was like going to see your friends, because you'd hear the other kids talking on the radios too, right? And so every year you'd have like a school carnival, which is where, you know, your athletics carnival, where you do track and field, and you'd meet at an oval, and you would get to meet your teacher and all these kids who you'd be talking to, and you didn't really know what they looked like.
Wow.
You know? Yeah. And then all of a sudden you rock up to the school carnival, and there they are, and you're like, oh my God, that's, you know, that's Kevin, and that's, you know, there's Cheryl, and like now I know what you look like. I've heard your voices for a whole year, and like, or a couple of years sometimes. Like, so that was really interesting. But you know what I say I lacked a little bit. You know, I didn't learn that well. Like you know, I always had trouble with English and like writing and reading, because, you know, you're a bit behind, because like I said, it's nothing like being at the actual school, you know. So but hey, you know, look, I do all right now. I can read lines and remember them, so
I think you're doing just fine.
Yeah. So
well, as I mentioned, in 2010 you were in the Steven Spielberg, Tom Hanks production, the miniseries The Pacific.
Mm-hmm.
Which is not a bad gig to have on your list of credits, by the way.
Yeah.
So what was it like filming that?
It was cool. I mean, it was like getting to go to war without actually having to go. You know, it was like
without worrying about getting injured or
yeah, you know, and because like all the explosions are real. You know, they put in like fertilizer and soil. They pack it into the bomb, so it goes off, and you get like soil and stuff all over you instead of like shrapnel and iron. Yeah, and it was fun, man. It was like there's tanks driving around. There's like a massive plane crashed into the ground, and that was cool. And I was just actually cutting my new demo reel and looking at some of that footage, and there's a scene there with that I did with Rami Malek, who won an Oscar. You know, and like I was looking at that scene, I was like, oh my God, that's Remy. Like that's like how many years ago? You know, like 8 years ago, doing that scene with him, and look at him now. You know, like how his career has blossomed, and it's awesome. It's awesome to see, like remembering all those years back, sitting there, like having a cup of coffee with him around this like campfire thing. Like we're all tired and run down, and like knowing like all that hard work, you know, would kind of pay off, especially for him in the long run. So you never know who you run into.
Yeah. So did you have to like go through like some sort of like training before you did the show?
Yeah, there was. I wasn't a serious lead on it. You know, I was like guest starring, but They did. They put them through the ringer. Like they put them into some heavy regimented like boot camp training. And I was kind of bummed that I didn't get to do it. It would have been rad. But I just didn't book that big job on it, So, but it was fun to be a part of, man. I mean, any job that's credible like that's real cool to be on.
Yeah, well, like I said, it's a great gig to have on your IMDb page. So
yeah, right. Yeah, no, for sure.
So when you moved from, you cut out. You still there?
Yeah. You there?
Oh, okay, you cut out for a second. Yeah, you can see me okay, right?
Yeah, we can see you.
Okay, good. So when you moved from Australia to America, you worked breaking in horses and taking people on horseback rides, correct?
I did. Yeah. Yeah, I worked at LA horseback riding, which is just out here at Topanga. And I had very little money, and I needed a job, and I bought a motorcycle for I bought this old cruiser for $650, and it had 650 horsepower. So I literally paid $1 per horsepower, and I rode it to work every day. I rode it out to Topanga and back to Hollywood every day, and that was my office. I was on horseback, and I'd get a call from my agent saying you got an audition, and I'm like taking people on a ride, and I'd be talking to them or playing the harmonica or doing something silly, and I'd get this call, and I'd be like, "Oh, excuse me, guys, I just gotta step into my office," and I'd be sitting on my horse backwards as well, like talking to them, and then I'd like come back around,
Yeah.
And it was a fun part of my life. I kind of miss it, now having kids. I was like. But I still know them, so I can go down there and like let my kids ride and hang out, So.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah.
So were you doing that when you booked General Hospital?
Yeah, I was doing that when I booked General Hospital. I was doing that off and on. And I had another job at a camera rental house, like prepping equipment for people, and I was doing a little bit of like cinematography as well.
Yeah.
So I was kind of a jack of all trades,
Well, I think it's good when actors kind of learn behind the scenes.
Right.
That sort of thing. To kind of have that in your back pocket, I think that's a good thing. So.
Yeah, totally.
So, General Hospital, that was your first acting job in the States, right?
That was. Yep. That was my first acting gig. Yeah.
So, had you ever seen like an American soap opera before you booked that?
I'd never seen General Hospital, but I'd seen glimpses of like Young and the Restless and Bold and the Beautiful. That actually they don't play General Hospital in Australia. Well, at least they didn't when I was growing up. Maybe they did, but it wasn't. Maybe they played in Europe more, or you could still find it if you were looking for it, but it's not aired like on free to air like the other soaps are, which was a shame because I think it's a good one too.
Yeah. Well, I enjoyed your work on that show. It was too bad that they turned you evil and then had you killed off. But
it happens, happens to the best of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, tell me about the Pan Care Foundation. Are you still involved with them?
I'm not really. I was involved with them when I was doing a show in Australia, Winners and Losers, Pan Care. And my dad had cancer at the time, so I was, an ambassador for them there. I'm still. I don't know if they still have me on as an ambassador for their company, but if they do, I'm always happy to work with them. I think my profile now is starting to incline again, and when I get a little bit more traction and people interested in what I'm doing, then then I can help out with foundations and stuff like that. But at the moment I feel like I'm still on the rise, as as you might feel the same, Jake. Like, yeah, but I'd love to do more of that stuff. I'd definitely love to, to do, help out the community and foundations and stuff. So yeah, it's definitely something I want to do more of in the future.
Yeah. Well, last year you did a short film called Along the Bed's Edge Sitting. I have to say that slowly so I don't screw up the title. You produced and starred in it. So first of all, tell us about this film, what it's about.
The film is about a a young star athlete who decides to go the route of family instead of pursuing his career in sport. It's a pretty heavy movie in the vein of Manchester by the Sea a little bit, kind of dark, family story. And yeah, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. A good buddy of mine, Charles Benson, wrote it, who I used to play in the Sugar with, and he wrote and directed it. And it was a great experience to produce something. And recently it won an award at a film festival, and so that was nice to see it played on the big screen. And it was really an exercise for us because I started a production company to see if we can make and execute professional and nice looking content and tell good stories. So I think that's the next step, is to make our own content. Like Jake and I were just talking about it. We need to, we don't have time. Life's too short to wait around for that audition to come, for that phone call to come. So it's the age of TV and online mediums and making, your own content. And that's a message to all actors and artists and everyone. Like, just get out and do it, like make it. Look at you, Paula, like you're making your own content. You're doing it.
Yeah.
And you can do it from your living room.
Yeah.
And you know what you do. You know what I mean? Like, as opposed to like waiting on somebody to maybe give you the opportunity to do this thing that you fit into.
Yeah.
Versus just like doing what you do. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of people are creating their own content now. I mean, that's what the web series, all that is about. Everyone's, putting themselves out there instead of, like you said, waiting for the call for somebody to recognize what you can do.
Yeah. Yeah, for real. Yeah, just do it. Yeah. Do it. Yeah.
So, so you played, back to the movie, you played an 18-year-old.
Yeah.
What was that like?
I'll tell you, it's probably the last time I'm going to play an 18-year-old. unless I do some like crazy, like amazing Benjamin Button CGI or something. And it was fun. Look, actually originally we cast a young Kiwi, a young guy from New Zealand, but just before we started shooting, he got this amazing role in a play to play Peer Gynt in New Zealand. So he went back to do this incredible play, and we already had the camera and everything kind of ready to go, and the crew. So we, Charles was just like, Nate, like, I think you're just gonna have to do it, man. And so my hair was kind of shaggy and long at the time, and I shaved, and I think I pulled it off.
You did,
close enough, And it's, I don't know, we can just suspend belief when you're performing. It's kind of like stage. The guy's not really in high school, but Channing Tatum's not in high school, but he's still, he's still playing characters that are like 16 and 15, so.
Right. No, I think you pulled it off, and like you said, you're just suspending the reality of disbelief with that. So it's, Yeah,
you kind of buy into it after a while.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and the flashbacks were necessary to tell the story about how you got to that point in your life. So.
Yeah, cool. What did you think? What did you think of the movie? You saw it, right?
Yeah, I did see it. I watched it yesterday. Actually, it was really good.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, it was really good. So is that the direction that you and Charles are going to go in now, as opposed to doing the band? Are you going to try to make film instead, or are you going to still try to make music?
Yeah. No, we are. We're making film. We're producing some TV right now. We got a kids TV show that we're working on, and we've also got an adult series as well. And a couple of films. So, and the music, because we did all the music in that film, all the music that you hear in that movie is me and Charles, mostly in this room.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, so that's all in here. Yeah, we had like a girls, like some girls come in to sing that girls choir bit.
Yeah.
And we had, we did all the other parts, all the instruments, all the, all the sound effects and everything. So, yeah, I think music it's just all encompassing, like being a jack of all trades. It just helps to be able to do everything, Not that I'd want to, like,
not that you had the time.
It was so much work, even just for a short film. It took us forever, and God willing, later on when you have more funding and more, help, more people, like you'd have a department for all those different areas where Charles and I did everything.
Right. Have to wear all the hats.
We wore all of them.
Yeah.
We wore all of them. And it was fun. It was just a lot of work, But it's cool to see the final product. It's nice.
So there's really no good segue for this, but I did want to ask you about this. So tell me about the time that you met Leonardo DiCaprio at Jamie Foxx's house.
It was just at one of Jamie's Christmas parties, and
you're so nonchalant about it. Yeah, I was at Jamie's Christmas party.
Yeah, and he lives not far from me here, and it was, and he just arrived, with Bradley Cooper, I think he came with, and just out of the blue, like Jamie was showing me around, and then out of the blue, he's standing there, and Jamie's like, "Oh, by the way, this is, Bradley, Nathan, Leo," and I was just, I was just so nervous. It was the only time I've ever been like truly starstruck, and that's getting to be a few years ago too now.
Yeah.
Since then I've had kids and grown up a bit, but I was nervous, man. I don't know why. I was just like, hey, man, and he was kind of like, his cap's right down, and he's like this, and
right, yeah.
I just shook his hand and said, "Hey, dude, what's up?" And that was it. Like I kind of froze up and didn't know.
I met him at the chateau.
You met him at the chateau? How was that?
Terrifying. He was in the. It was terrifying. Like I didn't know what I was like. Oh.
Yeah, I don't know. I felt like a goof. I felt like so goofy, but he's such a huge star.
Right.
Like his life is so crazy that I can't imagine how crazy it is for everyone. He's got to be like hiding all the time, and like it must be hard. It must be hard, man. A lot of actors out there and artists, like they want to be famous, rich and famous, and you got to be careful, man, what you wish for, because it's not all getting all that ain't all. It doesn't make it. Yeah, it doesn't make it easy. So I don't know. You know what I mean? I didn't write it quite well, but
I think for me it was like what went through my head, because I met him and Brad Pitt and a lot of celebrities at that party. Is I wanted to say hi, but I was like, but is that kind of, don't they get that all the time? I'm like, I'm sure everybody wants to say hi to him. Maybe they're gonna think I'm weird if I say hi, so maybe I'll be the cool guy that doesn't say hi.
Yeah.
Hi.
Yeah. You're like so in your head about it.
Yeah, I've never thought so much about saying hi or not.
Right. I overanalyzed it.
Yeah.
But he's a cool guy, man, and and he's a great actor, and he has some really great advice to actors, about auditioning that you can find online, and about and he's a great person, man. Talking about foundations, like the Leonardo DiCaprio Foundation, like. He's doing great things for the world, Yeah. He's trying to make it a better place, and that's amazing. I think more of us should be doing stuff like that, and he's in an amazing position to be able to educate people, and he's got such a big audience that people will listen to him, and he's got a good message. Yeah, he's a good guy, man.
Yeah.
Well, and I think doing those sorts of things when you are that famous, I think it's important to keep you grounded.
Right. No, totally.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So we mentioned Hawaii Five-0 a few minutes ago, and I know you did a short film years ago with Alex O'Loughlin. So is that how you came to Hawaii Five-0, or was that purely coincidental?
Yeah, a little bit of coincidence and a little bit. That's this industry too. Is it's such a small world that on every project you go to, you're gonna know someone. Like when I got on the set of Hawaii Five-0. The cinematographer, Jonesy, like I'm friends. My neighbor is like his family member,
Oh,
so like it's like ridiculous. Like out of the industry, like literally the person who lives just down the street from me is like, this industry is like that, But I met Alex in Sydney, actually, many years ago when I started drama school. It was like 2003 or 4, right around there.
Yeah.
I was a young kid, like 17, 18, and he was like in his mid or late, in his 20s somewhere in drama school, you know.
Mhm.
And yeah, and he kind of, you know, took me under his wing a little bit like a big brother, you know. Like I remember he gave me a bunch of clothes. Like I was poor too. Like I grew up on a ranch,
Yeah.
and I'm all of a sudden living in a big city, and you know I've got nothing. I'm going to drama school. I'm on a scholarship, and so he yeah, man, he was such a nice guy. And then he told me he was moving to America, and you know that was, and then jump forward 10 years later, and then you know, and then he's calling me up saying like, Nathan, I love you for this role, man. Like, you know, like, and I was auditioning right here for this.
Yeah.
For that show, like right there, and then I was like, you know, it was so nice to reconnect with him and to do that show. Such an awesome character. I'm loving like playing the villains. Jake and I were talking about playing villains. How fun that is.
He's really good too.
Yeah.
I was gonna say you were literally scary good playing the villain. I mean,
Good?
yes, yeah.
I'll take
as
it. I'll take
good
it.
as I thought you were, as good as I thought you were on General Hospital, I think that was just scratching the surface. After seeing you on Hawaii 5-0,
Right.
yeah, big
Yeah,
things
I
are
don't know.
headed your way.
Thank you. Yeah, I feel like
Yeah.
I've grown so much as an actor. On General Hospital, I was still finding my way. You know, I was still finding my feet, and I still think I am. You know, I still think I haven't figured it out. I haven't figured out how to act yet. But I think it's a lifelong process. You know, of like mastering.
Yeah, well,
Mastering.
you're constantly going to be needing to stretch and grow, and you know, I think that's kind of what it's about.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, no, that was cool. Actually, tomorrow or Saturday, I'm flying to Vegas to watch my buddy who was in Hawaii 5-0, Tyron Woodley, fight. He's trying to retain his welterweight world championship. He's a UFC fighter, so I'm going there, and I'm actually going there with Alex. So I'll see him in Vegas in a couple of days to go and
Very
watch
cool.
to watch our buddy fight. So looking forward to that. I've never been before, but hey, I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be
Ever
cool.
been to Vegas?
I've been to Vegas, but I've never been to a
you've
fight.
never been to
a
okay.
UFC fight before. Yeah. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Well, I want to mention before we go that you have an official fan club now through allmypromotions.com. It's $20 to join, and that will get you an autographed headshot. And I've actually got the full link to that to your fan club site on this video, like under the video. So you can click on that and go right to it. And I also want to mention that your film, Along the Bed's Edge Sitting, is available to watch on Amazon Prime. And people can still watch your episode of Hawaii 5-0 on CBS.com. And I have the full link to that under this video as well. So is there anything you would like to add before we go?
Do you want to add what's your
Jake.
What's your like Instagram? Let's add our socials on here so people can follow us.
Sure. Mine is Moto, MOTO, Mill, MILL, the number 2.
Okay.
Moto Mill 2.
Moto Mill 2, because he's a motorhead. He's like a mad motorbike adventurer. And his Instagram is really cool, actually, because he's like real outdoorsy and he does all these cool adventures. And
I took a lot of it down.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, I'm trying to steer it more towards the acting. You know, I had somebody that was trying to help me with that, and they kind of steered me away from my adventure stuff and more towards the film.
So that's cool.
I might put some more up soon.
Moto Mill 2, and follow me. Mine's just my name, Nathin with an I, Nathin Butler. Instagram and Twitters. Yeah, man, follow us and check us out.
Do you guys have some more projects that you would like to plug? Either one of you, both of you?
I
mean, yeah, that's it. That's it for now for me. You got anything going on?
I'm working on a movie called The Astrid Experience this weekend.
What's it called?
Called The Astrid Experience.
The Astrid Experience.
Yeah, we'll see how it's going.
It's a short?
No, it's a full length.
Oh, it's a feature?
It's a full length. And
right.
I think that's about it.
Okay.
For me right now.
Well, Jake, it sounds like we probably need to book you on this show sometime for like your own interview, if you would like to do that.
Yeah, I would be down for that. That'd be fun.
Yeah, okay. Well, just get in touch. So
I'll give him your info. He's a great guy. Get him. Get him on.
Yeah. We will definitely do that.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. Yeah. My brother would be very happy to hear you say that. He's a big Alabama fan. So.
Yeah. Are you a Vols fan?
I'm neither. I don't care either way.
Yeah.
It's not really my thing.
General Hospital fan.
General Hospital fan. Yeah. Okay. Well, Nathan, Jake, both of you, thank you for coming on the show today and taking the time to answer a few questions. And good luck to both of you. So.
Of course.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, and you too, dog.
Thank you. I hope you come back. So.
We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah. Bye.